And then there were 5. We welcome you back to Anderson, Indiana. Dave Small's Championship Lanes PBA50 title presented by Roto Grip. Joined by Tom Carter, who competed in this field and has great insight on our 5 bowlers and on the conditions. I'm Dave Lamont, along with Phil Brilo. Curtis Von Kruger has been running around and taking care of a lot of our equipment. We start with an unbelievable opening match.
Hall of Famers.
Yep, Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Parker Bohn III. What do you anticipate here?
This is going to be tough. We got Walter throwing BBs up the right side. We got Parker throwing BBs, got that messed up. Got Parker throwing BBs up the left side. It's going to be a tough match because they have a great look.
Now in the 3 positions, Steve Jaros emerges, and this is a guy who had a great match play record. I mean, that was the thing. He kept taking full advantage of those bonus pins to move on. Steve
threw it great. I bowled with Steve last week, and he made some adjustments to his game coming into this week. He is throwing it fantastic. He's also another guy that is taking the hook out of play today. He's throwing it hard up the right side. I think their first 3 matches are going to be unbelievable.
And they are just about to get underway here as they introduce Walter Ray and Parker Bohn III. In the number 2 position, we have Michael Hagen Jr. If he wins a match, he is the PBA50 Player of the Year.
He's the hottest hand that we have out on the senior tour right now. He's been incredible for the last several weeks. It's going to be tough to beat him.
And you know what? This match is about to begin. Let's get right to it. We'll discuss our number 1 seed as this evening goes on. We are live here in Anderson, Indiana. And a very familiar sight. The defending champion here in Anderson, Parker Bohn III, rips the pocket to shreds. Walter Ray has been a runner-up 3 times this year, looking for his 12th PBA50 title, and a wraparound on the 10.
This pattern that they're bowling on is probably not the toughest pattern we've bowled on, but it is very what we call wet-dry, and you get the ball in the dry a little bit too early. It looks like it makes a good turn, but it loses energy so fast, and you leave a lot of ring 10s on this.
According to Parker Bohn, the apocalypse is on us because today, or not today, but in this tournament, that man has missed 3 single pins in one event.
And you almost seen him miss a 4th.
Yep.
He said he had 9 opens this entire event, which is totally unacceptable.
Yeah, and 3 of them were single pins. Terrific crowd on hand, too, by the way, here. Really impressive. A lot of folks have shown up, and
Dave Small does a fantastic job for us. Every tournament we go to that he has hosted, it's unbelievable. The staff.
That has happened a lot. We've had a lot of stoners in the 8s and 9s. What's caused that?
The ball getting to the lane just a little bit too late. The ball makes that move. It burns up, and he's using a very aggressive ball, and the outside of the lane is really rather dry. He's waiting on that turn, but you can see the ball deflect. It just lost a little bit of energy before it entered the pocket. Walter using one of the newer DV8 balls of Rebellion, and he likes that stack layout that he uses with the pin and the CG out a little bit.
And didn't go to the spare ball there.
No, that's which was kind of unusual because he always throws the high hard one for the spare ball. I think he did that for a reason, to kind of give him a read and help break that outside of the lane down for him.
So now Parker Bohn III, Hall of Famer, of course.
Parker, before this match started, he goes, should I be throwing the heat? And I said, I think that's your best shot, throwing it pretty hard from the outside, up the left side. Every time he slowed it down, the ball just checked up so early.
Player of the Year in the PBA in 99 and 2001 and 2. That looks like heat to me.
He was throwing it 18-5, 18-8 today, and he was throwing BBs down the lane.
Had a 300 in qualifying. Had 9 300s. Did not have one today, but we had 9 the first 2 days on this Scorpion pattern, 42 feet.
We almost had one by our number 3 seed. Steve Jaros had 289 in one of the match play rounds. Classic style of Parker. 4-step approach, dead rock solid at the line. But that's the thing that he's had. I mean, if he gets too much speed on this particular pattern, to keep it online, he's got a chance of the ball deflecting just a little bit too much coming in behind that head pin and ringing the 7.
Fired a 279 in the title match a year ago to win this event. And then he'll clean up his 7-pin, 35-time Titleist, 3-time major champion. He has a couple of second-place finishes last year. He has 4 PBA50 Tour titles.
Well, there's a lot of titles standing down there right now. You got 82 regular titles and you got 15 senior titles.
Yep.
It's not like these guys don't know how to play. And Walter's getting to do what he likes to do best, play the outside and let it roll up.
Yep,
you can
another
see
quarter
that,
10, though.
Yeah, that ball's just not making the turn on the back end. He looks like he's playing up around 5, getting the break point down there around 8, letting it turn up, and the ball's just laying off. He's using that asymmetrical ball, and asymmetrical balls tend to read the lane just a little early sometimes, and if they hit the friction too much, you can lose a little energy.
There he goes to his classic spare ball to take care of business.
Black diamond.
Yep, but he does not have a strike in the opening 3 frames here. The winner will take on Steve Jaros. Michael Hagen Jr., number 2. And the guy we didn't get, because they started this match so quickly, a chance to talk about is our tournament leader, John Marsala. He just became a member a month ago.
Yeah, and this is the first time he's ever bowled for a title. He doesn't have a regional title, doesn't have a national title, and he's leading this event. And he, from the left side, he is smooth, and he had a great look today.
So we'll be taking a look to John here soon, but right now, guys who have bowled for tons of titles.
This is just like a walk in the park for these guys.
Nope, this time a quiet 10 for Parker.
Parker was thinking about adding a little bit more surface to that ball with his speed. He needs it to grab the lane so it checks up a little bit earlier because he likes to use his speed. He actually told me today that he got to do what he likes to do. He backed up on the approach and got to play his game, which is hard. And for one of the senior players throwing at 18 mile an hour, you don't ever see that out here. Most of the guys throw it somewhere between 14.7 and 15.5. And when you get a guy who can throw at 18, that's kind of unheard of on the senior tour. At least when I'm bowling, that's unheard of.
The Sundial I used to time mine is still counting them. There you go.
Oh, there you go. That ball made a beautiful move on the back end, got to the break point around 8 and just checked up.
Watch the 9-pin. We've seen too many stiff 9s.
He split the 8-9 right there, just
Yep.
pushed it right over. He's just such an incredible talent to watch. You know, his classic style. You know, if you're ever learning something and want to watch somebody, pick Parker.
Got to go. It did. Well, that's his best-looking shot so far.
He moved a little bit to the right. Give that ball a little bit more time to check up. He's crossing like 5-6. Break point still at like 7-8 down lane. He's kind of giving it a little angle to the pocket.
You don't get to do what he's done without being able to make immediate adjustments, subtle ones or major ones.
Well, if you can throw it hard and straight with a little bit on it, that's right up Walter's A-game plan.
Oh, yes.
One of the greatest. They don't call him the GOAT for no reason.
Well, if he gets this, he'll pass Pete Weber and the late Gene Stoos for 5th on the all-time PBA50 Tour title list. Give him a dozen. Parker looking for number 5. These guys combined have been Player of the Year in the PBA 10 times, and Walter A is also 2-time PBA 50 Player of the Year.
That means you make a lot of shows.
Under pressure, too, and in tight competition, and that's what we have right here. You can't do much tighter than that.
No, we're down to 4 frames, and it's all tied up.
And no sign of these two Hall of Famers slowing down either.
You know, it's incredible. They're both with the same company. They've bowled together for years, and even though they're great friends on the lanes, they're competitors.
You see Michael Hagen Jr. and John Marsala in the back there, waiting their turn.
They're talking to Jim Callahan.
Oh, did he get a break here? No, he can't.
A little high up on the 6 pin there. Parker not giving it a whole lot of room, a little bit tighter down lane. That was more like 9 down lane, so it was high on the head pin and just left that 6. Easy spare for Parker, no problems. Throwing a katana slash. And he actually thrown a spare ball for, sometimes he uses his katana for his spares, but throwing a plastic ball, but that katana slash he used the whole week. It's got a pin down, hold down drilling, something that's going to start up, and he needs something with that kind of speed. You don't use pin up layouts when you throw it 19 mile an hour. That was a little questionable. That wasn't quite as far right as the shot before, and I think he was hoping that it did trip out the 10. Yeah, he hit like 6-7 at the arrows. And that ball deflected a little bit. You seen it as it went through the pins. It almost took out the 9 straight on.
So now looking for a 5th straight strike is Walter A. Williams Jr. against the defending champion. Oh, he's found it now.
He's locked in. I see him adjusting his glasses. He told me he went to bigger glasses, had bigger frames, because he ended up looking over the top of his other glasses. So he went to bigger lenses so he didn't look over the top of them.
Just a little detail, so make a difference.
Kind of fun. Parker needs this shot to keep it tight.
Has to hurry, and it did.
The high hard one. Somebody can throw it that firm with that much on it. And Parker, I think, can split boards at 60 feet.
Well, he's not subtle about this shot at all.
No. The thing that we talk about a lot of times out here is the guys at the line, the great bowlers, are just so rock solid at the line. The leverage point is unbelievable, and that's what helps give you speed. When you can be that solid and let the swing go by you, a little bit delayed at the line, unbelievable as far as leverage and rotation that you can create.
Yep.
Deadlocked.
He's going to force Walter Ray Williams to finish strong.
Crossing 8 out to 7. And he's keeping it really tight on line, not giving the ball much room. He's not giving up the pocket, that's for darn sure. Back outside again.
Nope, it's not going to go. It's not going to go.
He was giving it the little twirl. He needed it to come up. The thing about this pattern is that when you get it inside just a little bit, the ball just, that's where that, what we kind of call a cliff is right there. That's where the heavy oil is, and the ball just doesn't finish.
So Parker has a max of 247. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to miss that.
No. Easy conversion. That black diamond ball rolling over every hole it's got. And a tie score of 47.
I was going to say, if we finish this,
we have the possibility of a tie.
Absolutely. Yep. 247. Let's see what happens.
He willed that one up.
I was going to say, I'm not sure what that little wrist motion means, but it's a way to
hurry up and turn.
Yep, there it is. That's what he wanted. I remember the first event I ever did on television. I was working with Chris Barnes as my analyst and Del Ballard Jr. as my scorekeeper, and the two of them started getting into a conversation only using their right hands. They never spoke a word, and yet they both understood exactly what they were saying to each other, a bowling sign language, as it were.
It's a secret language that we have.
Nothing is secret about that. Kick save and a beauty on the 10.
One more shot out of Walter forces Parker to strike out for a tie. This is when bowling is fun. Right here.
Now, Parker's going to have work to do no matter what Walter Ray does here.
Parker has to throw the first two no matter what. John Marsala patiently waiting. There's got to be nerves going on for that boy. First time he's ever going to be on a show.
Man, oh man, oh man. Walter Ray Williams Jr. 247. Parker Bohn has to go off the sheet.
And flat labeled that one. And that's why you have 47 regular titles and 11 senior titles, because he loves the pressure. These guys thrive on it.
Be interesting if one of these guys makes it against Marsala, who has never bowled for a title and has no regional. They couldn't find any regional information on him.
He doesn't have. When I talked to him, he doesn't have any. So this is going to be the first time. So there's got to be nerves no matter what.
That has to hit.
Oh.
Has to hit. He cannot have anything but strikes if he wants to force a one-ball roll-off.
There's a little bit of a can opener going on right there.
It wasn't as pretty a strike, but it's still a strike.
That ball took off to the left right after it hit the head pin. I'm like, the speed. And I keep going back to the speed, but when you're throwing at 18.8, you better have some revs or some surface on the ball to make it drive through the pins.
Yes, again, a late 10-pin drops.
Beautiful shot. This is what it's all about right here. One shot, 4 tied, force a roll-off, 1 ball.
If it's not a strike, Walter Ray moves on. Take on Steve Jaros. If it is a strike, 1 ball roll-off. Or maybe more, depending.
Wait, yeah, it could be.
Yeah, these guys could get going, and
we could have a whole other game.
That'd be fun. The first 300 in a roll-off.
One time.
Let's roll it.
And he labeled that one. We do have a roll-off.
Well, look at the scoreboard. They both strike out in the 10th frame.
They both can't win this match. So by PBA rule, the match will be broken by a 1-ball roll-off. And the qualifier will get the choice of starting lane and
John Weber giving the rules on how we're going to do a 1-ball roll-off.
Higher seed gets the choice of lane.
Walter's going to start on the left lane.
Would you rather start or would you rather go second?
I'd rather start.
Okay. Establish the benchmark.
Right. Actually, I won my first title in a roll-off.
There you go. The Tom Carter method. Look for that book. Amazon bookstores everywhere. Ooh, the little wrist move didn't help.
That ball didn't have the revs on it that he wanted, and he might have got a little amped on that and fired that a little just hard. It just
let's take a look at it.
He gets through it. He hits it hard, but it just doesn't look like it's revving up. What did make the turn on the back end?
Well, if Parker Bohn III has 1 more strike in him, he'll move on. If he has a 9, we'll continue, and anything less than 9, and Walter Ray moves on.
This is tough. You know that in this situation, as good as they throw it, you know that Parker's, I would say he's going to get 9, at least. It doesn't matter whether he strikes or not. But he's going to throw the heater.
He'll move on. Parker Bohn III has taken down Walter Ray Williams Jr., and he will continue his title defense.
Beautiful shot. Taken on Steve Jaros for the next match. Steve gets, I believe, 6 warm-up shots, and we go on to the next match.
So we will take a very short pause and allow the audience to appreciate what they just witnessed in person. I'm sure you did as well. You're going to see a 7-time PBA champion, Steve Jaros, take on Parker Bohn III when we return to Anderson, Indiana. This is Extra Frame on FloBowling. Well, the rule here on Extra Frame FloBowling is when John Weber stops, we start. And so here we go, Parker Bohn III, a dramatic victory over Walter Ray Williams Jr. in a 1-ball roll-off. Parker had to strike out to force the roll-off. He did, and then struck on his roll-off ball. Now he take on Steve Jaros. More on Steve in a moment.
The lanes have changed. The left lane is hooking a lot compared to the right lane on both sides.
Both sides. I was about to ask which side. So Parker with yet another strike.
Yeah, Parker was thinking that he might have to amp it down a little bit on the right lane because it is so much tighter than the left lane. Steve, in his practice shots, his first shot on the left lane went dead left Brooklyn. He's like, oh, my God. So he might be using 2 different balls on this pair.
So here is 53-year-old Steve Jaros. 7 times he triumphed on the PBA Tour. This is only his 3rd PBA50 event. He's got that messenger.
And he got the messenger. This is the 2nd event this year. I bowled with him last week. What a wonderful cross. Actually, Steve and I roomed together for a while. We got the same birthday. And he threw it absolutely fantastic last week. Unfortunately, didn't get the breaks he needed to make to the show. This week, total different story.
Yep, 43 times he has won regionals. And on this tour, back in 2016 in the Pro Bowl Championship, he finished 26. So he has eclipsed his best finish by a bunch.
Well, he's not scared of TV because he's got a 300 on ESPN.
That's right.
2 different balls, and that's the 2 balls he used today. Using a Brunswick method on the left lane and a Radical Intel on the right lane. 2 totally different layouts, and that's knowing your equipment. At first he thought he was going to have a little sliding issue when he first got up there this morning. When I bowled, we had kind of like when the storm came through, a little power failure and the air went out.
Yeah.
Approaches got really tacky real quick.
Yeah, that was an overnight issue.
Parker definitely not letting up on the speed.
No, well, he's got a good thing going.
And he is literally rocketing that ball down the lane. We've only got probably 3 or 4 seniors out here, maybe 5 at best, that can throw it that hard consistently.
Now, that's the big word there, consistently.
I mean, I can't get that kind of speed running in from outside.
He's Tom Carter. I'm Dave Lamont. Phil Brylow is hanging around, and Curtis Von Kruger has sacrificed his headset to run camera for us. We much appreciate Curtis's versatility, as you much appreciate the versatility of Parker Bohn III.
Pulling the ripcord on that.
Yep.
He's not going to move off of that line.
And the obvious question from the why would you?
No, well, he knows, and as we talked, there's a bundle of oil in the middle, and if you get too close to that, the ball just hydroplanes, and for him, he'll either hit the 2-pin in the face or just come in extremely light.
Look at that, just cleaved him in 2.
Steve not being scared.
No, that's the nice thing to see here is that Steve Jaros isn't worried about who the other guy is. His enemy is in front of him, 60 feet away. You have Michael Hagen Jr., the kid of the bunch at 51, is standing by, and if he wins a match, he is nailed officially. He will be the PBA50 Player of the Year. Now, he's probably going to get it anyway, but he can put all that talk to bed tonight.
Well, yeah, we got one more tournament left in Wyoming, Michigan. It's going to be a major, and we'll bring out all the names for that one.
Yes!
He made the right choice by going 2 different balls. One ball a little bit weaker than the others just so he can play the same line on both lanes. He was throwing it also today at 18 mile an hour. Steve's a big, strong young guy.
So back to Parker. Your turn. Keep striking.
Yeah, it's like tag, you're it.
Yep. You see Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the background there. Parker Bohn defeated him in a 1-ball roll-off.
247 to 247.
Sure, why not? We can do this all night.
Beautiful. Down the lane, hit the break point, and that ball made an awesome turn to the right. Both players like the right lane way better than they like the left lane. Parker giving it the double pump. He knows he's got it going on. He's such an upbeat guy all the time. I don't think that guy has got a mad bone in his body.
No, even when things aren't going well, he seems to deal with it in a positive manner, which not everybody can claim.
I think personally, I think the more upbeat you can be, the less bad things get into your head.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Once bad things get into your head, they just multiply.
Yep. Stinking thinking, they call it. But right now, can you smell what Parker Bohn III is cooking? 5 in a row.
I'm thinking he's wanting to take this totally off the sheet, and he wants another title.
Well, how about a second 300 game for the day, too? That would be cute.
Like I said earlier, Jaros and I used to room together. I had a ferret, so Steve thought it'd be a great idea to get a ferret, too, except for his was the ferret. It was a demon ferret.
I thought they all were.
No, mine was nice.
Look at this. These guys have not missed.
His ferret he bit a hole in my finger. Steve thought it was funny. I wasn't so much happy about it. Steve firing right through it, and he's not giving the ball away. He's not giving the pocket away. You know, he's playing up 5-6, taking it to 8-9 down lane, and just labeling the pocket.
Well, you're getting a master class right now in bowling from each side of the lane.
Steve likes it when he can stay to the right, and just his A game is throwing it up and at him if he can.
And Greek Church will interrupt all the fun.
Not a good break, and that's going to be a tough. That ball started left way too soon when it hit the dry down lane, and it just went right through the break point, up high on the head pin, right through the middle. This is going to be tough to pick up. But we've seen several pins bounce out today and yesterday.
Not this time. So, first mistake for either player. And you think to yourself, okay, I just ripped off 5 in a row. I can have one frame off. Maybe not.
But not when you're bowling Parker. But then there's that other side of it where the other guy says, oh, I got a little bit of a breather. He made a mistake, and if he lets his guard down, it could happen to him too. Never take the pressure off.
Six in a row. Plus how many from the last game? Probably about at least 5 in a row.
That would be almost an Andy Verapapa 300.
I don't have the score sheet in front of me for that last game, but he had to pull off at least 5 in a row to get to the roll-off. So that would be minimum of 11 straight strikes here for Parker Bohn III.
And he's still smiling, and I would be too.
Well, I was going to say, there's nothing to frown about here.
And John, sitting in the background there, has got to be a little happy about this because he is also on the left side.
John has not been zoned in on this match. He's kind of doing his own thing right now. I thought he might be locked down and keeping an eye on how Parker Bohn's ball is working. But he can just listen for that.
Yeah, there's a big crash at the other end. Oh, that could have almost been a 5-10. He kept the speed up. Ball never made the turn. And when he started to start, in the very beginning there, we missed it there, is like he started to start and stopped, then went again. And I don't think he just quite had his rhythm.
Yeah, the ball just clipped that 5-pin. Cleanly handled. He is clean now through 7.
These guys don't miss many spares. That's old school bowling.
Right.
The young kids today can throw 9-10 a game. Spares are optional.
When you're shooting 258, why bother?
It could be a messenger, and he gets it.
He got it.
That definitely was a senior messenger. It was a slow roller across there.
Somebody in the crowd picked up on that right away when they saw that the head pin had a chance to come over, and it did.
Just a nice little love tap. Steve didn't seem too excited about that. He's like, oh, well, I got it.
Well,
but unfortunately, that puts him still 28 pins behind.
And running out of frames. Here we are in the 8th. Again, Michael Hagen Jr. awaits the winner.
These 10 frames go by so fast.
Everybody I've ever talked to who's bowled on television for the first time, not Steve obviously, but has said the exact same thing. Oh, a bucket.
Well, that was the adjustment from the shot before where it took off and went high on him. He added a little bit more amperage at the bottom of the swing, and the ball never, ever read the pattern on the back end and didn't make the turn. Now he's put himself in a deficit. 2, 4, 5, 8. Not the easiest spare in the world, but he made it pretty easy.
Went straight at it. Parker can take a stranglehold here with the 2 more good frames.
He almost closes out the match with 2 strikes. It puts a ton of pressure back on Steve, and then he's got to hope for a miracle out of Parker.
Okay.
Oh, he had a ton of those, what I call wall shots, because he threw it so hard. He just throws the head pin to the right and just comes back and shoots things off of the deck.
Hit him thin and watch him spin.
Yep, and that's exactly what it did.
.279 possible here for Parker.
And 241 for Steve Jaros.
And imagine bowling that and sitting down.
Yeah, being 30 pins down with 2 frames left. .279 looks like it could be in the books the way he's throwing the ball. Super smooth, long swing, straight through it. And he's getting to play his A game. When you get to play your A game out here, it's time to win a title.
So Jaros, that 241 is all he can do. And it may not be enough. He's going to need a big, big break.
He needs to strike out just to force Parker to show up. Now he's back up the lane he's having a little trouble with.
Yeah, he's going to finish on that left lane.
So one was soft, went through the face. One was hard, didn't get there. What's your adjustment?
Well, gosh, that's a good question. You know, you're the professional. I just am wearing a coat and tie. What would
and
you
you
do?
look good at it.
Yeah, thank you. What would you do?
I got to go with his second shot where he was hard, but with just a little bit more turn on it so it reads the back end.
Oh, he got a kiss on the 10.
2 more for 241 and hoping for some kind of a break out of Parker.
Now, can he repeat that shot? So he's been all over the map on this left lane. Good, bad, and ugly.
Well, in the practice round, when he was practicing, it was totally different. It was everywhere from 5 to 6 boards different on the back end when the ball reads the lane.
Well, he made a terrific adjustment. It might be too late, but certainly no fear on these last shots.
In the 6th frame there where he got that 5 count, I think it just caught him totally off guard. He wasn't expecting it to jump that hard. One more strike for 241, and then it's just a wait and see.
There's your answer. Yep. That's the best he can throw at Parker Bohn III. But again, Parker's sitting at a possible 279. And a hit here would just about do it.
Anything over 6, and it's all over. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be more than 6 pins down.
How about 10?
Okay.
So Parker Bohn III will
Walking,
continue.
he's just kind of making a walk in the park here.
He will next take on
Michael Haugen, the hottest hand we have right now on the PBA Senior Tour. This boy has absolutely labeled everything regionals and nationals together. He's been on fire, and he drilled up 2 new balls this morning, which he didn't even think he was going to hardly make match play, and now he's on the show.
Boy, if you're Steve Jaros, Parker, yeah, why not? He got that senior roller as well, so he'll end up with a spectacular game. Steve Jaros, a 241, and it just isn't good enough, which shows you how great Parker Bohn III has been.
Well, Parker in his wheelhouse, he was really very, very content on the lanes.
Well, let's hope that Steve stays a fixture on the PBA 50.
He said he's going to bowl next week.
Good.
That's a good thing.
And beyond. In the meantime, no matter what this guy does, it doesn't seem to matter. It's just going to be a strike. So Parker Bohn III has taken down Walter A. Williams Jr., and he has taken down Steve Jaros. Now Michael Hagen Jr. will step in to the spotlight, and we will have that match for you in just a couple of moments after they get their warm-ups done. You're watching final 2 matches of the PBA50 from Dave Small's Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana. This is Extra Frame on FloBowling. There you have it. There they are. This ought to be something. Michael Hagen Jr. will come back to bowl. We are absolutely positive.
Yeah, he's not scared, I don't think. He didn't run away for no reason.
Maybe he just wanted to give Parker the close-up.
Went down and talked to Parker about the lanes, and as much as the left lane is hooking, he says the right lane has caught up and maybe even surpassed it for him.
Interesting. Well, it doesn't seem to matter at this point what you throw down there. You could throw motor oil down there right now, and it doesn't seem to make any difference. He defeated Walter Ray Williams Jr. in a roll-off.
And took care of Steve Jaros without hardly any problem shooting 279.
Yep. But ringer on the 7 to start.
And that's the hooking lane. He's trying to keep his speed up, but he thinks by his ball reaction that the left lane is actually getting maybe a little bit tighter for him, and he's scared to inch in because he doesn't want to catch so much of that oil that the ball won't react at all.
And we told you he'd be back. Michael Hagen Jr., who has a chance. First off, he's only the second player to go from the cashier's round, where we've had 28 bowlers, to the stepladder. Has anybody ever won from the cashier's round? Phil.
Brian LeClaire in 2015 in Fountain Valley.
And he's going to use that same approach, right, that Steve Jaros used, kind of straight at it. He's going to go hard and straight at it, and that's his A game. That's what he's done every week out here. He doesn't hook it a lot. His leverage is so great because he's the only guy out here that bowls basically in tennis shoes. He's got rubber on both feet. He doesn't slide. And so the straighter he can throw it, and pretty much the firmer he can throw it, and the ball that he drilled up to this morning is the one he's using, which is a ball that's got, as he said, bottom weight in it. It hooks, but it doesn't really go anywhere, but it's going right through the pocket right now. Well, he is another past PBA champion. 5 times he won on the PBA Tour, including the TFC in 2008. He was the PBA50 Rookie of the Year in 2017. Picked up his first PBA50 Tour title last year at the Suncoast PBA Senior U.S. Open. And has won twice this year, the only 2-time winner on tour, the Johnny Petraglia BVL and the River City Extreme Open. And I believe in between national stops, he's gone to 2 regionals and won those in between the national stops. Through the nose there for Parker. First time that has happened. He said that lane is starting to hook more than the left lane. So what's the best way for him to combat that? Well, he's going to have to inch in to the right, pick up a little more oil so he gets some skid in the front part of the lane so when the ball gets to the break point, it isn't so drastic. His other option is, which he likes to do, is throw it harder. But when you throw it harder, sometimes you don't give the ball enough time to read the back end of the lane, so it can't drive through the pins, and he could be ringing 7s all day. First time for back-to-back spares for him since we went on the air tonight at 7? I believe it is. Well, he's definitely got to figure out the lanes. And Parker's pretty analytical when it comes to ball motion and lanes, and I think he's got to figure it out again. Yeah, right away. The 55-year-old from Jackson, New Jersey, able to stick that back to the pins. You know, the pattern that we're bowling on is such, some of the guys thought it was easier this week, some of the guys thought it was harder, and a lot of it depended on your ball speed and your roll. If you were firm through the ball at the bottom, the pattern is pretty easy. If you tried to loop it too much, you could hit the head pin, but your strike percentage was not too good. And there's Michael. He's playing a little bit farther. Oh, we got a huge break. Wow, that was a huge break. That could have been an 8-10. I think that was the last 2 to go. Where the rest of the guys are playing out around he's crossing 9-10, really straight down the lane. That's that oil I was talking about. If you got it inside, it might not turn over on the back end, and that ball just about didn't. He knows he got a huge break there.
Opens with a triple for the early lead.
He went through a little, I guess, transition for his bowling.
Oh, my.
Oh, seven.
Oh, there he got rid of it.
Oh,
Man, we've had so
that
many
was-
7-10s in this house over the 3 days we've been here, and that would have been just a flippin' disaster.
Oh, that would have changed the whole ball game. But last week when he was bowling in severe pain. He had to have a root canal, and he was babying his teeth. He had baby aspirin and everything else trying to get through the match play.
Yeah, he had posted on Facebook that he's still having some issues with that.
It's tough to bowl in pain. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And it's bad enough if your knees or your hips or your arms hurt, but when a toothache's got to be the worst. That just gives you a headache. And if you're not striking against Parker, that's going to give you a headache too.
Well, Haugen with the early lead, but Bohn working off of a strike. Yeah, overpowered that 6-10.
That was the high hard one. He didn't move right. He just picked up the speed. It might, for a guy that can't throw it that hard, it must be nice to be able to adjust your speed upwards, where you can, when you know you got a great line, and it's just going to take a little bit more speed to hold the line. Some of us don't have that advantage. I think John being a little bit more attentive about this match because he's in the next one.
And how has Parker's bowling affected John Marsala, a lefty? We could be looking at a lefty-lefty final.
There is a possibility.
And
John playing him a little farther right than Parker is, and a little bit softer speed. So it'll be interesting to see if he catches that OB area.
Oh no, he knew right away. He knew. No.
He's just sick about that shot. I don't know if after he threw that, he looked over. I don't know if he heard something or something.
I think he just hated the shot, to be honest. He's going to try to bang it off the back wall, not to go. So a rare moment in our telecast tonight, an open frame for Parker Bohn III now.
After watching 2 matches of nothing but striking.
Yep, so Michael's got a great chance here.
It'll be interesting to see what he does on this right lane. He knows he got it in that last shot. I don't think he can get it right too far because it's going to hook early. Michael just dead up the back of the ball, playing right up 8 outside. Wow, he almost left an 8-10, and that shot almost left a 7-10. He's gotten 2 huge breaks.
Let's see what takes care of the 7-pin here. That's couldn't tell.
It looked like the 4-pin kind of jumped up and got it.
Yeah.
Michael, a great spare shooter, just straight. You know, when you're a straight player, spare should not be too much of an option to begin with. He's just straight at him. Biggest thing you can learn to do is go from point A to point B out here. Every pin counts.
Well, here's a chance to open up a pretty good size lead with a strike.
You know, he's got to be thinking, because this lane's changing. Do I move in? Do I don't? He knows this is the hook in this lane off for the right side, maybe not for the left. He started that ball up a little early. And he said that ball hooked and set, and it did, but it just doesn't carry.
So a soft 10 here for Haugen.
That ball crossed like 8-9 down lane and just didn't turn over enough to carry the 10 out. This could be the first spare match game that we've seen.
Well, yeah, the first 2 were significant strike fests. The runners-up fired 247 and 241. But as the lanes have transitioned, and Parker now doing a little work on the ball with some tape,
He's got his now a chance to put himself back in contention here with the double here. He's on the lane that hooks more. We know he's going to amp it up to 18.8. He actually got, he actually had a little loft on that ball, just firing it down the lane, trying to get it not to read quite so early and just hold the line.
Yep.
So one thing you don't see Parker do a whole lot of is loft the ball. He's normally got that ball down early and rolling.
6-pin got tripped out, and there's a lot of love around the 8-pin, but not strong enough to knock it down. So Haugen will have a 24-pin lead here through 6.
I thought the air just kicked on, but I believe it's the hard rain that we were getting here. It's
Yeah, the sun had been out for a little while after a morning full of rain, but passing shower is hitting Anderson, Indiana.
Oh, that storm that we had last night, that really rocked us.
Yeah, that was early morning. Lost power, and our hotel had the alarm go off.
Oh, you ought to have been in the motorhome out there. Oh, it sounded like there was literally bombs going off. The thunder was so loud. Parker firm through the shot. Ball just not turning over. Lane's definitely on the left side or going into transition. And this is the hard thing. He wants to move. He doesn't want to move. You know, you're going to try to do your A game as long as you can, but it's getting to a point where we might have to make some kind of adjustment to finish this out because he's got to throw some strikes on the board.
Didn't like his approach. Stuck just a little bit there.
Well, with that rain coming down, that could change the humidity in this place a little bit. And with synthetic approaches, that's a tough thing to do because if you can't slide, that's a scary thought. Michael not having that problem since he actually has rubber on both shoes. If you watch him on his final step, it's the heel-toe step.
He's been able to do that a few times today in this match. Hit light and this.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. We went from an 8-10 to almost a 7-10 to almost a 5-pin. So the carry on this lane isn't the greatest as far as the ball going through the pins because it has definitely changed down lane.
His lead now 25 and counting. If he can toss a double here, he's going to force Parker Bohn III to have another spectacular finish as he did in the first 2 matches.
Well, Michael is kind of known from coming from the backside to win a match.
And by the way, if he wins this match, he wraps up PBA50 Player of the Year.
Oh, he labeled that one. I think he's getting back into the zone. So Parker has now got a job ahead of him. He's got to strike out. Michael doing what he does. You know, throwing a bunch of strikes at the end. That's how he won the Tournament of Champions against Chris Barnes.
Oh, cannot be serious.
Solid, absolutely rock solid 8-pin.
Ball just shot right by it.
That ball didn't deflect one iota. That definitely puts him in dire straits right here. Best he can shoot, 211. Michael Haugen going at 257 if he strikes out.
And you see right there in the background, yellow shirt leaning on the wall there is our #1 seed, John Marsala, competing for the first time for a title. I don't want to say in his entire life because we don't know as a young man what he did, but at this level.
At least for a PBA title.
Right.
Regional or national, either one, and the lanes have conquered Parker. They have gone into so much transition. Even with his speed, is not holding the line.
Yeah, so he will end up with a 3rd place finish.
It'll be Michael Haugen against John Marsala. Bounced that
like
out.
it. I like the idea of the aggressiveness, but
Shooting a possible 188 is not going to get it because Michael is already there. With 2 frames to go.
so if Haugen was now your PBA50 Player of the Year, and he could be the second player to go from the Cashers round to a title, he's going to get that chance.
Well, playing straight, I mean, if you look at the guys on the right side, they've all played them straight. It's just a matter if you have the right angle to the pocket. Michael crossing 7-8 and actually around 7-8 down lane. So that's throwing the ball pretty straight down the lane.
Hasn't had a lot of flush strikes, but he's really had the action once he's hit the head pin.
And this place has great carry. A lot of half pocket, even what we call third pocket hits. If you just barely hit the head pin, you got some really good mixers.
That's flush.
That is game, set, and match.
So Michael Hagen Jr. continues his great run through this PBA 50 season. You're looking at him right there. There's your PBA 50 Player of the Year.
Well deserved because he has bowled absolutely incredible this entire season.
So he's won Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year last year.
Ever since he's come out on the senior tour, we always get new faces out here every year, but, man, he came out here with a vengeance.
Only 2-time winner this season. He's a match away from making it a 3-time winner. And he'll take on somebody we don't have a lot of information about in John Marsala. So we're going to get you ready for that match by stepping aside. Parker Bohn and Michael Haugen are going to finish things off, and then John Marsala is going to step in, the soon-to-be 56-year-old looking for his first professional title. That's coming up from Anderson, Indiana. It will be Haugen versus Marsala for the title here at Dave Smalls. When we return, you're watching Extra Frame on FloBowling. And here we go for the championship here in Anderson, Indiana.
John Marsala bowling for his very first title
At
of any
this
kind.
level, yeah. Now, our buddy Mike Flanagan has checked in. And, of course, Mike, St. Louis-based for a while, gave me a lovely scouting report on our #1 seed. Who starts off with a strike?
Good shot. He's going to be throwing it a little bit different than Parker, a little bit slower speed. So his is going to be arcing it a little bit more than what Parker did, giving the ball a little bit more time to return on the back end. But that's the way he played the lanes all week, and he absolutely ramboed him this week.
Well, we'll get to some of Mike's information here in a moment. Here is Michael Haugen.
Doesn't look like he changed his strategy.
No, and why would you at this point unless something really weird was going on,
Well,
and it's not for him. So he's got a good line right now.
Well, he's got a great line in, but he did change balls in some of those fill shots and in the practice just to see what it was going to do, and he had a great look with that ball, so which is a little bit stronger on the back end than the one he's throwing. So it's just a matter of being comfortable right now with what you've got. Kind of funny, Michael Haugen coming from 28th place, barely made the cut. A gentleman by the name of Gary Ray, a newcomer out here. If he doubles the 10th, he threw the first one in the 10th. If he doubles the 10th, Michael is out of this tournament. Instead, he didn't throw the double.
Right.
He tied with Charlie Tapp, and Charlie Tapp goes to the senior spot, super senior spot, and Michael gets 28th.
Well, the line started from the bottom. Now we're here, and that's exactly what it is with Michael, although that could have been a disaster for him there.
So coming from the Cashers round all the way up, bowling for a title.
Careful. All right, he handled that very nicely. So John Marsala, and this is, I'm going to just steal some of Mike Flanagan's material here. Calls him one of the best local left-handers in the St. Louis area out of St. Charles Lanes. Has done very well at USBC events, including a couple of 2,000 pluses all events over his career. Loves the game. Friends with Lightfoot, Bornhop, and the Webbers out of the St. Louis area. And Mike refers to John's game as simple. And I don't think that's an insult.
No,
by the way.
if you watch him throw the ball, it's down and in, simple game. It's just now if he can figure out the right lane, because according to Parker, that lane started hooking a lot more than the left lane. It was the other way around when the match started, but they have flipped.
No drama in his life, just loves the game. Great spare shooter. And according to Mike, if he pulls this off, he'll be the greatest thing ever to happen to John.
Well, I know when he finished that position round match and he bowled so well in that to take the lead.
Did he ever?
He had some tears in his eyes because he was tickled to death.
Well, he just loves the sport. And here he is. He makes a show. And on the same stage as him, and he's actually above them in the seating, Walter Ray Williams Jr., who's been defeated, Parker Bohn III, who's been defeated, Steve Jaros, a 7-time champion on the PBA Tour and a solid player, defeated, and now he's going up against, as we've reminded you a few times, the hottest member of the PBA50 scene right now, Michael Hagen Jr., also a winner on the PBA Tour.
John gave that some room, way more room than he's been playing, I think, all week, and it came back and flushed him up. I had the opportunity to be on the mic with Marshall Holman at the U.S. Open.
Oh, yeah.
And John was standing there, and Marshall leans over and he goes, "Take a good look at John." He goes, "Doesn't he look like Jimmy Certain?" And, and for some of the people out there that know who Jimmy Certain is, you got to look. You might catch him just right. So we've been kind of kidding him about that.
Marshall likes to stir it up.
Wow, was that dead flush.
Stirring up pins right there.
Michael likes that ball because he said it hooks, but it just doesn't overhook. And that definitely didn't overhook. It hooked up, got her to like 6-7 down lane, and it set right to the hole.
Spectacular.
I thought in the position round we were going to, the way Amuleto was bowling, we were going to have the only guy that was really hooking the ball in the whole tournament on the show, but unfortunately he ran into a buzzsaw and didn't make the show.
Now the buzzsaw named Parker Bohn III in the position round. They were matching strikes, I think 5 or 6 straight frames, and then Amuleto hit a real patch of ice, and Parker did not.
Yeah, he hit a 5 count out of nowhere.
Yeah, and 2 shots, 2 frames that were just completely out of form for a Hall of Fame bowler. And so Amuleto wound up 6th, just missing the show. And they don't have alternates like they used to do in the old days. Used to love that.
Spare for Michael, and we have got a match pretty much all even. John's got a chance to take the lead here with the double.
Now, John's finished 25th in last week's Security Federal Savings Bank Championship. This is his 5th PBA 50 event. So we know he's done a lot of USBC bowling. And again, a member only since July. So, you know, that cliche, living the dream.
He's living the dream right now, and a double and takes the lead.
You're
what
watching.
A great shot. That was amazing. He's given that ball more room than Parker did on the left. He's actually swinging it out there to like 3 down lane, and it's just trucking back. He's a member. He's the USBC Hall of Famer down in St. Charles. He's a member of the Hall of Fame there.
Yep. Well, my thanks to Mike for, first off, for watching and for coming up with all that fine information on our tournament leader and now leading in the title game. Bam.
Wow.
How about that?
I think the nerves are out of his system.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because you thought, having been down there, because you've been heading down to the bowling area in between matches, and you thought there might have been a little bit of nerves based on John's warm-ups, but he's calmed those down.
He's throwing the ball like a veteran pro, like he's won 25 titles.
So Haugen's going to have to respond, but this is all Michael has done all the time. You think he's out, and he comes back in.
Michael is never out of it.
Oh, that's not going to help. An awful break. The 6 flying around the 10, even making contact with it.
Well, this will be an easy spare for him, but he's going to have to get on the strike train here pretty quick because John's making this look pretty stinking simple. And I really thought that the nerves might get to him being his first title, but what's he got to lose?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great attitude. That is the right attitude.
Yep. Ooh, almost bounced that out of there, but there wasn't no 7 to pick up. He is now switching to the stronger ball. He was throwing that ball in the warm-ups, and it was giving him a little bit more continuation on the back end, and I believe that might be the right thing to do.
Whoop. I don't know if he heard a noise. There was a little noise somewhere in our vicinity, actually, but just in a...
He got distracted by something.
Yeah.
A couple of tournaments ago, we had a cell phone go off right in Bob Learn's approach, and that was against Michael Haugen, and it cost him the match. I think it was 247 to 246.
Well, I thought that might be just a hair high.
And it was. That ball turned the corner a lot harder, but it looked like he had a little less speed on that in some of the previous shots he's been throwing. Because once it decided to go left, it went left in a hurry. If he keeps messing around, he's going to be putting himself in a position where he can't catch up.
Well, he's going to go for 3 straight single pin conversions. And it could be against 3 straight strikes. So Marsala now has a bit of a grip on this game. Let's see if he can tighten it.
Something you don't see a whole lot. Marsala giving him 5 as he comes off. You know, John's just acting like it's another day at league.
Yeah,
We're just going to go through.
Where am I? Do I get an eagle for this?
Very simple. Look at that. He just.
Wow, and that one meant a lot. Now can he manage his emotions and manage the joy of the moment and not let that get to him? That's going to be interesting.
He can't be thinking ahead at this point, even though he's got the match well in control. And he seems to be a kind of an emotional guy, especially after leading the tournament. He can't be thinking about that because it's tough to bowl with water in your eyes. Just take one shot at a time. This match is not over. Very simple, classic style. Down and in.
Well, it's getting close to being over, though. That is a great run from John Marsala.
Unbelievable ball reaction he's got. He's throwing a phase 2. It's a pin up, simple drilling. CG kicked out a little bit. It's the same ball he's used the whole tournament, and it's giving him an unbelievable reaction down lane.
So Haugen in deep trouble now.
We're in a must-strike situation. And why did that rack come down out of nowhere?
Didn't affect him, but you're right.
Yeah, out of nowhere that could have been disastrous.
Watch to your left.
At least the ball came off of his hand before.
Yeah.
If that would have come down in the middle of his approach, that was close. And there is no distraction rule, so if it would have happened, that would have definitely.
Yeah, ask Lenny Borsch about that, right, Phil? Go ahead. Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, Lenny Borsch had a pin drop on the lane next to him earlier today, and he tried to stop the shot, wasn't able to do it. Lenny threw the ball in the gutter. I thought it was actually off his ankle for a second. And it cost Lenny a match and bonus pins, and after that it was kind of a free fall for Lenny. So that was very unusual for.
We talked to Lenny. It took the wind out of his sails. A lot of us thought he hit his ankle or something happened.
Yeah, that's what he did too. Phil noticed it immediately, and there was kind of a weird noise in the center, like, oh.
Well, everybody just stopped bowling. It was like, well, what happened? And because Lenny went and sat down, and I thought he was hurt. There used to be a distraction rule, but there is not anymore. And actually, it happened to Bob Learn on the show when he set that record. Somebody leaned out over the lane and waved, and he got a shot over.
Quiet 10 for Haugen.
Michael is he's smiling about it, but he's not smiling inside, I guarantee you.
Nope. The path is set for John Marsala to win the title. He just has to execute a couple of really good shots to do it. And you have to have confidence in him.
Oh, he's got to be confident right now. 138.58. Best he can do is 218, Michael Haugen. And John just needs to fill some frames. He is definitely in the driver's seat. It almost looks like where Parker was having a little bit of trouble with both lanes, playing them a little bit different, just by John's ball reaction, having talked to him, looks like he's playing them the same.
Well, he's going to have to work a little bit.
That is the first hiccup that he has had.
And you had to wonder, as you get so close to something you want so badly.
Well, we just talked about you can't be thinking ahead, even though you got the match in hand. Spares are crucial, but now when you leave something, and it's a baby split, which doesn't seem that hard.
Oh, it's
but
hard now.
Right now, it's really hard.
Yeah, I agree. Now, we were told he's an excellent spare shooter. Here's a great chance to show it. Yes!
Oh!
He got it. Stays clean through 8. And
There,
there's a 40
you see that
pin
big
lead.
sigh? He's just like, oh, my God, I just got this.
His lead is 40 with 2 frames to go. Again, 218 max for Michael Hagen Jr. So,
and 258 for John.
He is in a great position here to nail this down.
You just got to stay calm, cool, and collected, which seems it's very simple for us to say, but when you're out there, it's totally different.
Got to hurry. Okay, he got away with a bad ball.
He rushed that one to the line. He almost threw that in the gutter.
That would have changed this match entirely. Watch how close this is.
That was dead left off his hand. He got it out to 2 down lane, and
So he is human.
Yeah, he's thinking, and he doesn't need to be thinking right now.
Thinking is very bad for your
just
health.
Throw the ball.
Got to hit this. Okay, handle that very calmly.
Breathe, John, breathe.
Well, let's see if Haugen can force him to do something in the 10th frame.
Michael needs to strike out. John needs to show up.
Yeah, that's the classic strike that we've seen so much out of Michael on this particular show today. The number 3 seed.
3 more for 218 to force John to come to the foul line.
This is pretty interesting. You have 4 multiple PBA Tour champions on this show. One man who did not have a title on the PBA and any of the PBA tours and is now moments away from grabbing one. Haugen's got to hit this one too. And he got a trip on the 9.
94 PBA titles on the show. And the guy that doesn't have the one
Isn't that crazy?
looks like he could be getting his first. Oh, a little love tap on that 9. Just knock it out of there. Classic style of Mike Haugen. Dead straight through the shot. Oh,
we have to admire that. He's doing, his last stand, his last charge up the hill.
Well, no matter what, congratulations to Michael Haugen because he's going to be PBA50 Player of the Year.
It's a nice consolation prize if he can't win this title. And really, a strike from Marsala would do it, depending, of course, on what Haugen does here. But a strike would.
5 pins would do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Strikes out for 218. John Marsala's got to step up, hit the head pin.
He can't let one grease on him like that last one did, though.
No.
He needs to take a couple of deep breaths if he has to.
This is the point where do you just walk up and throw it at the head pin?
Let's see what he does. Oh, this looks all right.
Yep.
He got 9.
That's enough.
He's got it. There is your champion, the first PBA title going to John Marsala here on the PBA50 Tour. His first appearance
Unbelievable.
on television and the Stepladder, and he is your champion. Hello, St. Charles Lanes. Make sure this man gets around when he gets back home.
Yeah. St. Louis is going to be happy.
Oh, that's
he great spare shooter, but I think the moment got to him.